Hey, what's up? That feeling again? End of the month, you check your bank account and ask yourself, where did all the money go? Look, I'm not here to judge you because I've been there. My name is Molly. I was born and raised in America, and for years I lived without understanding how money really works. But today I'm going to show you something, and let me tell you, after watching this video, you won't be able to look at certain things the same way ever again. Now think about this, $500 a month. Does that number seem small to you? Most people say, come on, what's $500? A dinner out, a few shopping trips, maybe a subscription service or two, or maybe a small installment you're paying every month. But here's the truth, when that $500 leaves your hands every month for 10 years, the total money that walked out of your life is $60,000. Okay, most people can do that math. But that's not the shocking part. The real issue is this. The true cost of that money is $93,000. And today I'm going to tell you where that difference comes from, why it matters so much, and most importantly, how you can reverse this in your own life. First, let's talk about this. Why do people think $500 doesn't matter? Because the brain struggles to grasp large numbers. In psychology, this is called temporal discounting, meaning something that belongs to the future always feels less valuable than something that belongs to today. $500 in my hand right now genuinely feels more valuable to me than $500 10 years from now. This is an evolutionary mechanism, a reflex left over from the caveman era. Back then, you might not be alive tomorrow, so the brain says, eat today, spend today, live today. But in the modern world, this reflex is destroying you. Now let's get to that $93,000. Let's say you're spending $500 every month. Over 10 years, that adds up to $60,000. So where's the difference? This is where opportunity cost comes in. Have you ever heard this concept? Opportunity cost means this. The money you spend on one thing is the money you didn't invest in something else. So the real loss is not just the money you spent, but also losing what you could have earned with that money. If you had put that $500 every month into an investment account with an average annual return of 7%, and that number is very close to historical stock market averages, by the end of 10 years, you would have had somewhere between $86,000 and $93,000, meaning the difference. The $33,000 born purely from interest, money you could have earned without working at all. $33,000 just by putting $500 in the right place. Look, right now you might be thinking, okay, Molly, but I'm already doing the best I can. Saving $500 is a luxury for me. And I hear that. I really do. But I want to ask you this. Where is that $500 going? Because research shows that the average American is spending almost exactly that amount every month without even realizing it. How? Like this. A $15 Netflix subscription, $13 for Spotify, $12 for a gaming subscription, $9 for an app, $25 for a magazine or platform. Add those up, $74. But let's keep going. Eating out for lunch a few times a week. Let's say twice a week. $12 each time. That's $96 a month. Morning coffee, 5 days a week, $5. That's $100 a month. Now we're at $270. Amazon small purchases average $60 a month. That impulse buy habit, that one-click shopping, now we're at $330. Unnecessary car upgrades, extra insurance packages, a gym membership you don't use, services you haven't canceled but haven't visited in months, and suddenly you've blown past $500. The interesting thing is, none of these expenses make you unhappy. They all seem small. They all seem reasonable because the brain doesn't see the big number. $15 a month doesn't seem stupid, but 15 not stupid things together are robbing you of $93,000 over 10 years. Now let's go a little deeper because the problem isn't just spending habits. The problem is also something else. Consumer identity. In American culture and actually in all of modern society, what you spend defines who you are. If you have the latest iPhone, you're successful. If you drive a nice car, you have status. If you live in a fancy neighborhood, it means you're doing well, and we are bombarded with these messages every single day. Researchers say the average American is exposed to between 4,000 and 10,000 advertising messages per day, every single one whispering to you, spend, spend, spend. So what does it take to resist these messages? Financial identity, meaning not saying I am someone who saves, but saying I am someone who invests. Because identity is more powerful than behavior. So let's make this more concrete now. Let's say you're 30 years old and you just realized this $500 problem. Great, because you have time. But first you need to understand this. Every dollar between the ages of 30 and 40 is far more valuable than every dollar between 50 and 60. Why? Compound interest. The thing Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world. Compound interest means this: the interest you earn gets added to your principal in the next period, and then you earn interest again on that grown amount. This is a self-feeding cycle of growth. The difference between someone who starts investing at 30 and someone who starts at 40, even if they're putting in the same amount of money, can be hundreds of thousands of dollars by retirement. What most people don't realize is this: time is the greatest wealth tool, but also the greatest wealth enemy. If time is working in your favor, it makes you rich. If it's working against you, it makes you poor. And a $500 monthly expense is a concrete example of time working against you. Now let's get to the practical side, because I'm not someone who just says save money. That advice doesn't work. People know it, but they don't do it. Why? Because the system is set up wrong. Most people spend first, then save what's left. But this approach almost always fails. The right approach is this: pay yourself first. This is an old but powerful principle. The moment your paycheck arrives, a certain amount automatically goes to an investment account. You don't even see it, and you run your expenses on what's left. Setting up this system doesn't require discipline, because discipline gets tired. Systems don't get tired. Look, let me give you a real example. Let's say you take home $4,000 a month. If you automatically direct $500 into an S&P 500 index fund, meaning an investment vehicle that has historically provided average annual returns of between 7 and 10%, what happens after 10 years? Even with a simple calculation, more than $86,000 will have accumulated, and during that time, you'll have learned to live on $3,500 without making a huge sacrifice in your quality of life. Because research shows that people who save 10 to 15% of their income rate their life satisfaction higher than those who don't. Sounds like a paradox, spending less and being happier? Yes, because financial security gives you a sense of freedom, and the feeling of freedom feels much better than a new car or the latest phone model. Now I can almost hear the objections. But there's inflation, Molly. Money loses value. You're right, inflation is a real problem, but my answer is this: holding cash is the worst defense against inflation. If you keep your money under a pillow or in a low interest savings account, inflation is eating away 3 to 4% of its value every year. But invested money has the potential to grow above inflation. So the point isn't to save money, it's to make your money produce more money over time. And this is where most people get confused. Investing is hard, risky, not for me. You say, I understand. But know this: index funds, meaning investment vehicles that track the overall market, are backed by decades of research. Even Warren Buffett says the best advice for the average person is to buy index funds. It's not complicated. You don't need to pick stocks. Put your $500 in every month, sit back, let it wait. That's it. Another thing most people don't realize is this: it's not big decisions, but small habits that determine wealth. You don't need to start a big business or win the lottery to become a millionaire. Just small, consistent, and smart decisions are enough. $500 every month, every year, for 10 years. That simple and that powerful. Now let's get to the most important psychological point. Why don't people do this even when they know about it? The answer is instant gratification. Dopamine. The brain prefers what will give it an immediate reward. When you buy something new, dopamine spikes. When you invest, you don't feel anything in that moment. Silent, boring, invisible. But this is exactly why most people can't get wealthy, because the brain prefers a short-term reward over a long-term gain. And the only way to win this battle is to automate the system, to not let your brain get involved, to eliminate what's called decision fatigue. Let me tell you this: when I applied this system to my life didn't change. I mean, at first I didn't notice anything. I was still living in the same house, driving the same car, living the same life. But a few years later, when I looked at my account, something had grown there. Quietly, without making a fuss. And in that moment, you understand. So this is how wealth accumulates. Without noise, without show, but steadily. Now let me give you a concrete action plan. Step 1. This month list all your subscriptions and cancel the ones you don't use. Just this one step saves most people $50 to $150 a month. Step 2. Set up an automatic transfer. On the day your paycheck arrives, a certain amount automatically goes to a separate account. If $500 feels like too much, start with 100. What matters is the habit, not the amount. Step 3. Invest this money in an index fund. Opening an account on platforms like Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab takes 15 minutes. Step 4. Forget about this account. I mean, look at it, check it, but don't touch it, because the biggest investment mistake is panicking and selling when the market drops. Step 5. Try to increase this amount every year. Did you get a raise? Direct part of that raise toward investing. Keep your lifestyle the same, but let your investment grow. And look, finally, I want to say this. Money is not a goal, it's a tool. The real goal is freedom, a life where you wake up in the morning and can ask yourself, what do I want to do today? Not what do I have to do? And the road to that freedom begins with a small $500 step every month, every year, quietly, patiently, steadily. If this video was helpful to you, please like it and subscribe to the channel because we're gonna keep talking about these kinds of financial truths. And if a friend of yours needs to see this video, share it right now because sometimes the thing that changes your life is seeing the right video at the right time. See you in the next one.